Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Ultra Purist run in the Binding of Isaac. So this run has to start with a little story because I am not speaking as I'm about to play here. I recorded this video with some new screen recording software that I have, and messing around with it the other day, I forgot that I turned the microphone off. So while it recorded the video, I got none of the audio recording as I was playing. Now, I only realized this about halfway through the video, and I did stop somewhere in the middle and try to figure out whether I was actually not recording the audio. However, I wasn't able to determine it, so I just continued to speak the entire time. So there's plenty of good commentary that is just fallen by the wayside. So anyway, it seems as if I chose to play as Isaac here. Now, of course, I know what happens in this run. I'm not going to reveal the ending to you prematurely. I'm just going to try to give a little commentary on the side as this is going on. Also, you'll notice there's no sound from the game itself. There was sound playing, actually, the music and the sound effects from the game, which of course didn't get recorded because, once again, the computer wasn't recording audio. So I'm playing as Isaac here, and once again, the Ultra Purist challenge is to visit no shops and no item rooms, and the goal is to beat Blue Baby. So, first floor, we're on the basement part 1. Everything seems to be going okay so far. I've taken one half heart of one half red heart of damage, and it looks like I picked up a spirit heart, which half of which is gone. So just a review from the last run, which we did lose, even though we picked up the nail pretty early on, which was a great sign of possible success. What's going to be really important in winning these runs is going to be any way to increase damage, and usually that comes from a deal with the devil. Deals with the devil are essential, and to that end, oh, that's a nightmare. That was a terrible dodge. I was going to say to that end, keeping spirit hearts available for the second floor and beyond is incredibly useful because deals with the devil are more likely if you take no red heart damage on the floor in general and in the boss room. So holding on to spirit hearts so you can make sure to not take any red heart damage is very important. It doesn't matter so much on the first floor because unless you get a Joker card or something, um, or find a red chest in the cursed room that will teleport you there, you can't earn a deal with the devil or a deal with the angel. Deal with the angel rooms are also very useful, but obviously if you get Sacred Heart, damage is pretty well boosted and that problem is taken care of. But most items are not going to give you increased damage. Obviously the Miter and the Relic are incredibly useful. Okay, so that was a big problem. This is a room that I find it very difficult to take no damage on. So I have taken a half red heart of damage, which I think does decrease my chances of getting a deal with the devil. But if I can manage to beat Pin here without taking 3 hits, we should have a decent chance of getting a deal with the devil. I really don't remember what happens here. Pin is, I would say, the easiest boss in the game. His pattern is completely set. Once you are standing, or wherever you're standing, he will fly towards. And all you have to do is move aside, and his little shots are easy to dodge. So we did earn a deal with the devil. Now, we might want to reroll that Cat of Nine Tails because it's total garbage, but it's more important to try to reroll the deal with the devil items, which is probably what I was explaining as I was standing there not doing anything. So Sister Maggie and Guppy's head, not very useful. Ooh, an Eternal Heart is incredibly useful. I guess I'm going to reroll these because I'm just standing there, probably deciding what to do. Maybe I do take one of these. I probably reroll them. I must reroll them. I don't know what we're doing. We should really try to get this going and reroll these items. I'm just walking around not doing anything. Come on, make a decision, man. Do something. All right. We found Guppy's tail and Dead Cat. That's right. Which is perfect. So we're going to pick both of those items up, which is incredibly important because one of the ways to get increased damage in order to beat Blue Baby without being able to visit any item rooms or shops is to become the cat. Becoming Guppy gives you the mulligan, which is a huge increase to damage. And being able to pick up 2 items to further that 3-item requirement to become Guppy is incredibly useful. At the same time, picking up the 9 lives item is very useful for getting increased damage by abusing the 9 lives glitch. Or it's not really a glitch, but something that you can take advantage of with the 9 lives item. And I'm sure that I'm going to waste plenty of playtime explaining this throughout the run. Not me, who's speaking right now, but the me who was playing the game, thinking stupidly that the computer was recording the audio, while of course it was not. So I'll try to do my best to explain this as we're going along as well. I'm sure if you've played plenty of The Binding of Isaac, you're fairly familiar with this strategy already. It's not uncommon. Some people don't like to take the 9 lives item because it does take you down to 1 red heart, and if you already have a couple of extra hearts, you might consider it a waste. Having health going into the end game is obviously incredibly important, so that can be a problem. But on the other hand, the trick is that if you kill yourself in a boss room after you've beaten a boss and taken an item, like beating one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse and taking a cube of meat, you will respawn outside of the boss room. Oh, re-rolling that Cat of Nine Tails, giving me range upgrade. That's total garbage too. You will respawn outside of the boss room and be able to fight the boss again, getting another cube of meat. So effectively, if you can pull it off, you can end up with, I guess, 8 extra boss room items. Now, it really is only useful to try against the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, who are going to give you cubes of meat, or to try it with the Fallen. Now, the reason for this is because if you try it with a normal boss, they may give you tears upgrades or range upgrades or even the pentagram occasionally, but oftentimes they will give you a health upgrade. And to abuse the 9 lives trick, you need to kill yourself, and each time you do so, you only respawn with 1 red heart. So picking up a health upgrade is a total waste. Since when you respawn, that health upgrade will be gone. Now, the Fallen does give you deal with the devil items that give you spirit hearts, which you can, I guess, just get rid of, basically, when you need to kill yourself again. And obviously, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse just give out cubes of meat. So that's why it is especially important to use these on only those 2 bosses. I guess at the end, once you've picked up a couple cubes of meat, or a couple deal with the devil items if you're lucky, then you can do it on a regular boss, like the Husk that we're fighting right now. And even if he gives you an HP upgrade, you're just going to hope not to die again for the rest of the run. Either you've used all of your extra lives, or you're just choosing to stop kind of using that strategy, and then you can kind of kill yourself in a regular boss fight until you get an HP upgrade, so that when you move along, or move on rather, you're not moving on with only 1 red heart. This is probably why a lot of people don't like using the 9 lives. The 9 lives trick is because you end up having to play the rest of the game with relatively little health. I mean, if you do it with the Fallen, you can pick up something like the Nail, which can increase spirit hearts. But so the reason I didn't pick up that HP upgrade is probably because I'm hoping to abuse this 9 lives trick with Pestilence here and try to get as many cubes of meat as possible. The goal, obviously, is to get 2 level 4 Meat Boys. That's the maximum number of cubes of meat the game will allow you to pick up. I think if you have two level 4 cube Meat Boys and you try to pick up a cube of meat, it simply won't appear on your body. You'll pick it up and it's just gone. So Pestilence is the best boss to be doing this on because when he creates the creep, he gives you a way to kill yourself without needing a bomb or an item like Kamikaze or something that creates a bomb for you after you've picked up the item. Because of course, to kill yourself in a boss room, you need to be able to deal yourself damage. So I guess I'm not going to be able to. I'm trying to run towards the creep. Oh, okay. So without a bomb or something else to do that, you're kind of shit out of luck. Unless you're fighting a boss like Pestilence, who, if you can pick up the cube of meat before the creep disappears, you can simply run over. You can run over to the creep, step on it. You'll retain the item, and you'll get transported out of the deal with the boss fight, and just be able to do it again. So I'm going to start this process. Clearly, I am wasting one red heart, but if I can do this over and over again, it'll definitely be worth it to get two level 4 Meat Boys. Or, you know, a level 4 Meat Boy and a level 3 Meat Boy. It depends whether you can successfully complete this fight without getting hit. Because I think, for instance, I think this is the champion version of Pestilence here. And I think his little shots, I could be wrong, I think his little shots do an entire heart's worth of damage. That's what most of the champions do. So obviously, if he hits me here, I'm just dead. Now, I could pick up the blue, the Spirit Heart, just to make sure that I get through the fight okay. But if I want to do this over and over again, I'm going to have to get rid of it right afterwards. And so it's kind of going to be a waste. Actually, yeah, so fighting the champion version is not quite as useful because the creep he creates is spider creep, or whatever you want to call it, something to slow you down. It's not something that hurts you, so clearly I had to use a bomb. Oh my god! What are you thinking? Oh, you know what? I picked up the health upgrade by accident. And I'm explaining myself shamefacedly to the public. The public that will never hear that beautiful, beautiful commentary. Yeah, I think I just respawned and started walking forward without thinking. Clearly, I was trying to save that health upgrade for when this whole process was done so that I could leave the floor with an extra red heart container to make it more likely to end up beating the game. I guess I am blowing up this tinted rock. I didn't want to save that bomb for the Meat Boy, process, the Meat Boy excursion, the Meat Boy glitch, whatever you want to call it. I am going to need to find more bombs. There's 2 in the middle there. That is incredibly useful because if I'm going to pull this off, if I have 7 lives, I need at least 6 more bombs. And if I do it 6 more times and I don't die, I should be able to get 2 level 4 cubes of meat, or rather 2 level 4 Meat Boys. So I think, this is terrible. Do not die. Careful, careful. Okay, I'm okay. I think my plan here, yeah, I'm definitely going back down because I saw the red heart on the map on the screen. I wanted to see if there was one there. I'd forgotten there was a spirit heart left there. I'm totally gonna die. Oh my god, killed by a fly. It's shameful. It's embarrassing. It's really something else. I think my plan right now in exploring the rest of the floor is to try to find as many bombs as possible. And before I lost that second red heart container, it was probably to try to go to the curse room, because obviously those can hold very useful items for succeeding in a difficult challenge run like this. In fact, the curse rooms are, along with the 9 lives trick, are one of the main ways that these runs can be beaten. You know, deal with the devil rooms, picking up something like Mom's Knife and a Brimstone, a Spirit of the Night, and getting lucky by getting, you know, enough red hearts throughout the game to beat Blue Baby is basically, you know, maybe picking up Guppy's Paw to get the Polaroid invincibility. That can basically be enough to beat the game, but it's always going to be close without being able to pick up anything from the shop. Ooh, a speed upgrade. I picked up the damage rock, so I'm pretty slow. I wonder if I want to pick that up or not. I think I'm testing out my speed. Testing it. How do you feel about it? Oh, reroll, huh? The Parasite. Yeah, I pick up the Parasite because I think it's a damage upgrade along with being kind of cool to have and can maybe help you hit enemies sometimes. I don't really know. Yeah, so I was saying, you pick up those deal with the devil room items. It's definitely going to help you beat the game, but it's going to be close. If you can walk into some curse rooms, you can manage to pick up deal with the devil items for free, deal with the angel items for free. Getting Guardian Angel in a curse room goes a long way towards beating Isaac and Blue Baby later on when you have to dodge all those shots. So that can be incredibly important. As I said in the last video, which was, as I said, unsuccessful, beating this Ultra Pure style run where you can't go into shops or item rooms is really about two things: being aggressive and not getting hit that often. So obviously not getting hit that often is good no matter what run you're doing. And, we all get hit as we play the Binding of Isaac. I doubt it's possible to do an entire run without taking a hit of damage. I wondered about it a little bit. I think it's impossible, though. But it's even more important when we're talking about earning deal with the devil rooms and deal with the angel rooms. Usually on a regular run, it's useful to get a deal with the devil room. It's useful to get a deal with the angel room. But it's not a complete indicator of the success or failure of the run. Here, if you can't manage to get any deal with the devil rooms, I think you'd be hard-pressed to ever beat the Ultra Purist run. I guess you could pick up damage upgrades in the form of the pentagram from a boss room or even like a boss trap room like this. I have seen the pentagram appear in here, as unlikely as it is. You can get them from golden chests. You can get the damage rock from a tinted rock. You can get... What other damage upgrades are there? You can get the Steven damage upgrade. I'm not even sure what that's called. It's not Little Steven. It's the other little face that gives you a damage upgrade. You can get... Wow, I'm blanking on the other damage upgrades that you get from golden chests. I know there are other ones. You can't get like Max's head or Stigmata. Yeah, I guess the Steven upgrade is really the one that I think most often, I'm hoping when I pop open a golden chest that appears. I mean, if you don't visit Deal with the Devil or Deal with the Angel, you can still accrue a ton of red hearts, a ton of spirit hearts. You can get the red hearts from blood banks, you can get them from judgments, you can get them from golden chests all over the place. Spirit hearts, if you get a lucky run and find a lot of tinted rocks, they can appear. If you're Cain and you're playing a fortune teller over and over and over again, and it's a very nice one, like that was, to give me that spirit heart right there. That was very useful. Thank you very much. You can pick up a ton of spirit hearts. But overall, I mean, imagine doing roughly base damage with a character like Isaac, or, I mean, let alone a character like Maggie or Samson, who start with incredibly low base damage. Trying to do an Isaac or a Blue Baby fight with damage like that, first of all, it would be the most annoying thing in the world. It would take forever, and you'd have to just be tanking all the time. So it just doesn't seem feasible. I guess it's possible, but the idea of it does not appeal to me. I guess there are other ways that I can think of other than doing straight up damage. I mean, obviously, I'm putting aside going into a secret room and finding Epic or Dr. Fetus. You go into a secret room and you find Epic or Dr. Fetus, you have enough damage to beat the game. And, I mean, that's totally a legitimate way to beat a run like this. And, I think people who are speedrunning do choose to do that sometimes. Now, you're going to wonder why I've stopped playing and why the mouse is moving a little bit over the screen. This is the moment where I wasn't sure if I was recording the audio or not, and I took a moment to check to see whether I could figure out if I was recording audio or not. In fact, I do not think I was able to, and I know I was not able to. So I was forced to simply move on and continue to speak to you fine viewers, hoping against hope that I had redone the settings and managed to turn the audio back on, knowing in my heart, deep in my heart, that nothing was being recorded, that I was simply sitting in my living room, my roughly empty living room, speaking to myself on the middle in the middle of a weekday, playing The Binding of Isaac. So, boom, this is perfect. We're gonna get some more cubes of meat here. I wouldn't have had enough bombs to do this 5 times or 6 times, however many times the 9 lives was going to let me. But again, since we're fighting Pestilence, it will be possible to get all the cubes of meat that the 9 lives offers. So there's 2 of them. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to that creep. Oh, I was. Beautiful. Now, obviously, the more cubes of meat you get, the easier it is to do these boss fights as you walk into them. Because before, we were doing it with just 1 cube of meat or no cubes of meat. Now we have a 1 level 4 Meat Boy who's helping us out, doing a lot of chewing there. Thank you, Meat Boy. Now we've got 5. Okay, so we were fighting the champion version, so we've got to use one of our 4 bombs here. But that's no problem. We absolutely have enough bombs to get this done. And unless we die against one of these pestilences, we should be able to get the 2 level 4 Meat Boys here. So we're about to get our 6th cube of meat. Perfect. And plenty of creep to jump on. All right. And there's a couple Spirit Hearts scattered around the floor right now. I think there's an HP upgrade somewhere that I left behind. So by the time I can see a Spirit Heart on the screen right now, which I'm clearly saving for later. By the time we leave the floor, we should have maybe 2 red hearts and, I don't know, 3 Spirit Hearts, 4 Spirit Hearts. I'm not really sure. Oh, well, I ran for the creep there and could not make it in time. So this is the last time we're gonna have to get a cube of meat here. Since we're not gonna kill ourselves, I guess I've decided to go get all of the health that I've left around the floor, because there's no point in doing the boss fight first. So while I walk around and try to find these health upgrades, or the me from the past walks around and trying to find these health upgrades, let's think about our chances here. We've got the Parasite, which I can see is just the most noticeable item on our little Isaac here. Not the most useful upgrade in the world. We've got Mom's heels, I think, are the little reds on our feet, giving us a little more range. Also not incredibly important. But now we do have the 2 Meat Boys, and after we beat Pestilence one more time before we go down to the next floor, we are going to have 2 level 4 cubes of meat. While that's, it's not really enough to guarantee our success in the rest of the game. Oh, it's a shame that wasn't a blood bag. That would have been perfect. IV bags, such garbage. Oh! Reroll for Polyphemus. Now, here's the thing. On the purest run, on the actual challenge itself, Isaac does not start with the D6. I was thinking about this earlier today as I was playing a regular purist run. So I didn't really think too much about it as I chose Isaac for the character for this. If you wanted to do an ultra purist style run with other characters, you'd be forced to not do the game-made challenges. You'd have to just go into the game regularly and simply skip the item rooms, because the game doesn't offer the challenges with different characters. However, it does offer it with Isaac. Isaac's the only one that can do it. So I think an argument could be made that this particular run should be done without the D6, that you should go into the challenge menu, pick the purist run, where he starts with no D6 and there are no item rooms available in the entire game. And something like that would not have been possible. That reroll, simply, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I don't really know. I think this is still a cool run to do. Obviously, it's more difficult. Oh, this is where I discovered that you can't take a 9th cube of meat. Is that right? No, I only had a level 3 Meat Boy for one of them, so I think that just contributed to the overall Meat Boyness of the run. Yeah, so I think you can make an argument that you should start without the D6. However, I have done this run with other characters. I did it with somebody else in the last run, and I have successfully completed this run not recorded with, I think with Isaac,
Judas and maybe Blue Baby. I don't think I've done it with Eve or Maggie or Samson, who I consider much weaker characters. I can't remember rather whether I've done it with Cain. But I think you can make the argument that since the other characters are going to have to be played from the normal menu, that Isaac should be played from there as well, and that we shouldn't make an exception. I guess you could also say you simply can't start with a spacebar item. So for characters like Maggie and Judas and Isaac, you could just disregard their spacebar item and say that it's non-functional. So I wouldn't be able to use the D6. I wouldn't be able to use the Book of Belial if I was Judas. Wouldn't be able to use the Yum Heart if I was Maggie. But I don't know. I think that's a good extra addition to the idea of these challenge runs. But I think it would also make it too difficult. I don't know if it would make it too difficult, but it would make it incredibly difficult. So it's not necessarily something that I'm going to try until we, I don't know, beat the binding of beat the ultra purist binding with each character, allowing them to use their relative spacebar items. So let's catch up on what past me is doing here. Past me is in Necropolis 1. He's doing pretty well. He's got Polyphemus, which is huge. He's got the 2 level 4 Meat Boys. I don't think I have a damage upgrade besides Polyphemus. Did I? I did go into a deal with the devil. Oh, I got the 9 lives and I got the Guppy's tail. Oh, that is my phone. I should probably turn that off right now. One moment. Just gonna go ahead and not pick that up. I'm assuming it's nobody important. If it is, I'll really be in trouble. Okay, so what happened here? Oh, we picked up Guppy's paw and we turned it into the cat. This is beautiful. So we're gonna have a huge bonus to our damage here with the addition of the mulligan. I think right now I'm deciding whether to roll with Guppy's paw or the D6. That's why I'm probably pausing right now. Thinking through my decision, I think I should take Guppy's paw. Yeah, I am gonna take Guppy's paw. Or past me has decided it was a good idea. If I'd kept the D6, I could have re-rolled the lipstick, which the lipstick's probably not going to give me that much advantage throughout the game. But really, we're almost set to be able to beat the game damage-wise at this point. The level 4 Meat Boys are going to be a huge bonus for beating Isaac and Blue Baby. And the only downside to that is that obviously they're going to be sending shots out like crazy because the Meat Boys are going to be continuously chewing. However, if we have permanent Polaroid invincibility, or the Polaroid invincibility, that's not going to be as much of a problem. So any health upgrade we get from now on, if we hold Guppy's paw throughout the game, including a health upgrade like on the chest or right here in this boss trap room, that's going to be 3 spirit hearts for us. And that's going to be really important. It's going to be a really important determining factor in our success moving on here. So let's see what's happening now. We got an arcade. We are on the Depths Part 2, not Necropolis. That's nice. I guess I'm saving Guppy's paw with that red heart for the moment because we obviously don't have the Polaroid yet, and probably going to pop it the moment we get into the womb. So just fighting some back brain dudes here who are not a problem for me. The Meat Boys can take care of almost anybody now that we have flying. Taking damage for most floors, most rooms in most floors that we're going to fight for the rest of the game is borderline unacceptable insofar as we could play it incredibly carefully. Now, I don't know why I left those 2 bombs behind there. That was foolish. What are you thinking? Go back. That's terrible. I mean, leaving the penny is no big deal. I have 63 cents. That's not. It's not going to be a game changer, but bombs are important. I only have 7 bombs. Could definitely use those in the mom's heart boss fight, or fighting Isaac or Blue Baby. Moving on. So I think the reality of the situation is, except for a room like this where obviously the Meat Boys can't chew things which are across gaps. I think, I shouldn't take any damage, but the reality of the situation is that I will take damage. There's no question, because I'm not the most patient player in the world, and while this challenge run, and kind of any challenge run that tests simply your ability to dodge shots as opposed to your ability to beat the game with kind of like a different powerful setup. So a lot of people use the cheat engine, which is very cool. I have no problem with the cheat engine. They use it to set up some really interesting run where you have technology and, brimstone or some other upgrade that doesn't usually come together in a vanilla style run. And you see kind of like what happens. You see what the effects are on the screen. Sometimes, especially technology is a good example. The technology shot can become enormous and zigzagged, and it looks really cool. And so it's really cool to see. But it doesn't really test your skill. Oh, Meat Boys, what a nightmare! Dragon bombs away. Doesn't really test your skill in the game so much, I would say. So I kind of enjoy these like minimalistic runs where you're really just removing advantages that the game allows you to have and seeing how far you can get. On the other hand, it does make for kind of a longer, slower run, and I just don't think I'd be able to stomach it if I was playing very, very carefully the whole time. I do still want to beat the game as quickly as possible. Not that this is a speed run or anything, but if this run took an hour and a half, I think it just wouldn't be a fun challenge to do. So I'm looking at the size of this video. This video is only 39 minutes or so, which is honestly, I think it's the length of a lot of my vanilla runs. And we'll see if that's going to be enough time to succeed. I think oftentimes a success in an ultra purist run like this does take significantly longer, although not debilitatingly longer. So instead of taking 40 minutes or 45 minutes, it might take 55 minutes or something, which is, it's long, but it's not unacceptable. So let's see. Past me is just walking around looking for the boss room. Picked up the world card there. That's incredibly useful. We're obviously going to roll with the Emperor and try to hang on to it until we either get to the cathedral or the chest. I know some people, namely Northernlion, talks about it all the time. Northernlion being another very popular Let's Player of The Binding of Isaac, who's made like 550 videos of himself playing, and he's amazing, and they're great videos to watch. You should check them out if you haven't seen them. Yeah, they really talk about, I know or rather, what was I saying? He's somebody who uses the strategy of using something like the Emperor card immediately on the cathedral, because if you can make it to the chest, you do get 4 extra items. So you can argue that it's more beneficial to use on the cathedral. Even though the chest is a harder floor, you might find yourself in a much more powerful position, or much better position to beat the game if you use the Emperor card on the cathedral instead of saving it. So here is where I pick up the 9th cube of meat. There we go. I'm confused. It's not showing up. Where's my cube of meat? It doesn't exist. Okay. So those are red heart pickups. Obviously, I cannot afford to waste every spirit heart I have on either of those items. So down to the next floor, we're on the womb part 2. I'm feeling pretty great about our chances. I do know what happens, and for anyone who's interested in playing along at home, which I guess kind of are with every video, I think most people can see that this is a run that's primed for victory, especially when we're finding health upgrades like that. Look how fast we're killing Loki there. That was incredibly quickly. The Meat Boys are tearing him apart. Polyphemus is doing its job, but I think ultimately, and I'm a big proponent of this, the mulligan is really doing, I don't know if it's the crux of the work, but those flies from the mulligan, if you have enough, I'm not even sure what makes the flies in the mulligan work. But if you have enough of whatever it is, they can be just such a huge indicator of success. If anybody knows, I'd be really, if you could leave a note in the comments, that would be really useful. Is it the number of tiers that kind of like successfully hit the enemy, which I don't think is possible because I'm shooting Polyphemus, obviously very intermittently, and yet I'm creating a lot of flies as these enemies are going down. Is it the amount of damage you're doing per hit? So if you have Mom's Knife, you're getting a ton of flies every second that it is kind of like hitting the enemy because it's very powerful. I'm not sure what else it could be. It's got to be some combination of those. And furthermore, am I getting flies? I guess I should be able to deduce this just from watching the video right here. I'm wondering whether I'm getting flies from the mulligan just when the Meat Boys are chewing. And I think I see the Meat Boys chewing right now. I don't see any flies being created, so I don't think that's the case. I think you actually have to be shooting the enemy for that to work. So I guess that's kind of disappointing. It'd be really useful to know. I'm sure maybe the wiki has the answer to it. I have not been on the Binding wiki in quite some time. I guess I'm deciding whether to open this chest or not, or whether to save the keys for the chest. Man, we have gone the wrong way through this entire floor. This is really disappointing. Partially because I just want my past self to get to the exciting parts here. Although it's fun watching him tear up this floor. You can see, for example, that I'm clearly skipping over the arcade right now, which by any logical determination is a terrible idea. I have 85 cents. I would not be able to play a blood bank, but if there was a fortune teller in there, I could play the shit out of a fortune teller and get so many advantages. I could get more tarot cards. I could get like a deal with a Joker card that could lead me to a deal with the Angel, and most importantly, I could just get more Spirit Hearts. But that would take forever, and that would be boring, and forget it. I think we're definitely powerful enough to beat the game as it is. So I chose to skip over that arcade entirely. I guess you could make that part of the condition of the run. I was talking earlier about whether the characters should be able to keep their starting items or not, like the D6 or the Book of Belial or the Yum Heart. I think another possible definition of the Ultra Purist run could be that you can't go into any room that isn't kind of like either a normal room or well, that's not really possible. I think you'd have to be able to go into deal with the devil and deal with the angel rooms. How about you could say you can't go into any room that requires some kind of comestible entry. So you couldn't use a key to go into any room, and for the arcade, they would be banned because you couldn't use a cent to go in there. I think that'd be a really interesting run. You also couldn't go into libraries for the same reason. And libraries are going to be incredibly useful when trying to beat the game in the Ultra Purist with somebody like Blue Baby or Kane, or really anybody that doesn't start with a very useful item like Isaac's D6 or Judas's Book of Belial, excuse me. All right, so we're about to tear this up. There's no question. We've got tons of Spirit Hearts directly to Blue Baby. We picked up damage upgrade and the Sacrificial Dagger, which will do a little damage. We've got invincibility from the Polaroid. And yeah, we're going to tear this run up. There's no question. All right, so that was success. Hope you guys were held in suspense long enough. So this was the first successful Ultra Purist attempt. Hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed it. And next time we're going to be back trying to beat the game with a different character. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.